This lady did brujeria on her man so that he could stay with her, and it kind of backfired. So this girl's telling us this story. She basically said that she had been with her man for a while, and she started noticing that he had become more distant, that he talked to her less, and she felt like he would have left her if it wasn't for the fact that she was pregnant. She said that she knew that he just didn't love her anymore, and that he would probably never tell her or leave her because, they were about to have a baby together, and for her, that felt like even worse than him leaving her, staying and knowing that he didn't love her. So in return, she started treating him the same way. She said that she would be so rude to him, and she knew she was being rude, and she knew that that wasn't gonna resolve anything, and that every time she would treat him like shit, he would do nothing about it. He would actually tell her that he doesn't want to argue with her because he doesn't want the baby in her belly to hear. So basically, he was putting up with everything that she was doing to him until one night. He finally talked back to her. She said that night she called him a coward for not telling her how he felt, for not telling her that he didn't love her anymore. And she knows that she pushed him to his limit. He basically told her everything she already knew, that he didn't love her, that he was sorry, but that she shouldn't need to worry because he was gonna stay there and take care of her and the baby. And basically, she snapped. She started cursing him out, telling him things that she had never told him before, and basically it just got really bad. She said that in that moment she felt so much rage that she decided to finally follow her friend's guidance and do something that she's telling us to never do. Never listen to your friend if she suggests this. She said that she had a friend who she had known since they were in elementary school. She's not gonna give us the name. But she said that at that time, her friend was very much into brujeria or witchcraft. She said that her friend was still learning, and when she heard about what was happening with her and her man, she said that she could help her. Her friend told her that she can bring all the love back, the love that they had from the beginning, and that she can make it happen, but that she had to do something for her. She said that they had to ask the dead being that her friend was working with for this favor in order for this to work. She then proceeds to tell Uriel, the person that does the podcast, the step-by-step ritual they had to do to ask this favor, and told them it was up to him if he wanted to share it to his audience or not, but she was only sharing that because she wanted him to know that this shit is real. Obviously, he did not share that with us, thankfully, because I probably wouldn't have shared it with you either. So she said that they followed the ritual step by step, and as a matter of fact, her, pregnant and all, went to the cemetery, and basically the guy that works at the cemetery knows that people go there to do things and lets them in. So middle of the night, her and her pregnant belly with her friend go to the cemetery and do this ritual. She tells us that what she witnessed that night was probably the scariest thing she's ever witnessed in her life, but she was that desperate that she was gonna do anything she needed to do. She said that after that, her husband started hanging out with her a lot, talking to her, being that same lovey person that he was. And as a matter of fact, he would almost call into work half the time just because he wanted to spend so much time with her. She finally had the baby, and she said that she was so happy because the baby was healthy, there was no issues, but she also noticed that her husband was turning into something different. She says that now he's always quiet. He doesn't talk to his family. He doesn't talk to his friends. He sits there quietly, almost like if he isn't there anymore. She said that a couple of times in the middle of the night, she wakes up because she hears his voice. She says that she wakes up and it almost feels like he's talking to someone, but when she wakes up, he stops. But then there was a time where she woke up and she was pretending to be asleep. She slowly opened her eyes and she could see how he was sitting on the edge of the bed, talking to somebody in the corner of the room. That alone, I would have been terrified. So obviously after, waking up, hearing him talking to someone, she goes back to her friend, and her friend confesses to her that this is the first time that she had ever tried something like this. She says that her friend did something wrong, and that ritual wasn't even the first thing that she had done wrong. Her friend admitted to her that every dead being that they had asked for this favor had started to showing up at her friend's house, except for one. I think we know where this is going. She basically admits to her friend that the one being that's not showing up is because it is at her house, because now he is the quote-unquote owner of her man. She admits that every day that goes by, she can notice a little bit more and more of this being and a lot more of her man just like not being him again. Basically, her friend who suggested this can do nothing about it. So at this point, she's stuck with someone who has an attachment because of what she did. And at this point, she said that she has been praying to God to like help him, even if that means that he has to leave her because he doesn't love her anymore. However, nothing has worked since. So she's telling us that she had left the room to write the story to submit to Uriel, and as she's writing us this story, she can hear him in the other room talking, except for this time she's finally starting to hear something talking back to him. And that's the ending. There's no ending, basically. I mean, I think a lesson learned, like, ironic that now she wishes he would come back just to leave her when she could have done that in the beginning. I don't know. I would be so scared to mess with witchcraft. I know there's things that are like positive and, you know, but there has to also be negative things. I would never do that just because you never know what might come back to you. When in her case, she still hasn't fixed it. Like, something is wrong. What if he turns violent? What if something, you know, worse happens? It's crazy. What do you guys think? By the way, guys, as you know, I translated from the Relatos de la Noche. If you want to know what episode, I'm putting it up here, and obviously listen to it in Spanish because it's so much better. And Uriel is an amazing narrator.